Hello student, myself Jashoda Biswas, your SST teacher. Today I will teach you our constitution. Constitution. The constitution is a set of written rules and regulations according to which a country is governed. If there are no written rules, people ruling over a country might do so according to their own wish. So, it is important, especially in a democracy, that the government function according to clearly laid down rules. Importance of Constitution. India gained independence from the British rule on 15 August 1947. The leader of the country realized that so many years of being a colony had left India ruined economically as well as socially. Caste, gender and religious inequalities were common and most of the wealth of the country had been drained by the Britisher. As a result, the economy was in a pitiable state, making the country economically strong and stabilizing equality in the society was the foremost concern of the leader. Moreover, for the success of democracy, it was important that the people enjoy certain clearly defined rights. To achieve all this, it was important to have written rules and regulation and right according to which the country could be governed. Hence, the constitution was framed. Now, drafting of the constitution. The constitution was framed by Constituent Assembly. Its members were elected by the members of the provincial legislative assemblies. When India gained independence, the Constituent Assembly served as the first parliament. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was chosen to the head of drafting committee of Constituent Assembly, which was formed in August 1947. The drafting committee took 3 years to complete the task of framing the constitution. On 26 January 1950, the constitution was formally adopted. Purpose of the constitution. The constitution clearly defines the powers and the function of the elected representative who govern the country as well as the rights of the citizen. The laws of our country are framed on the basis of constitution. It defines the function and powers of the executive, the legislature and also puts certain limitation on their power. The constitution tries to uphold the unity, integrity as well as diversity of the country. Features of constitution. The Constitution of India aims to establish a secular, sovereign, democratic society for its citizens. It is the longest constitution in the world with more than 400 articles and it is divided into 12 schedules. The constitution has been amended many times since it was adopted. There have been more than 100 amendments to it. The Preamble. The Preamble is an introduction to the Constitution. It highlights the values and principles of the Constitution. It also mentions the objectives that the Constitution seeks to achieve. Sovereignty. After years of being a British colony, it was important for India to proclaim its independent status. The Preamble states that India is a sovereign country. This means that the government of a country has an absolute independent authority over the area within the territorial boundary of the country. The country is free from external control. Now, separation of power. The constitution clearly demarcates and defines the power and role of the three organs of the government, the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. The legislature frames laws, the executive implements them and the judiciary resolves dispute and maintain law and order. Now, federalism. We have already studied that in a vast country like India, the government functions at 2 levels, center and state. There are also local governments in villages and cities. The constitution defines the federal structure, which means government at 2 levels. The Constitution also clearly defines the powers and the function of the two levels of the government. Now, we are going to deal with parliamentary form of government. The parliament is the central legislature. Through general election, we elect representative to the parliament. The Constitution mentions that India has a parliamentary form of government. Universal adult franchise. The Constitution also guarantees universal adult franchise, which means that every adult citizen of the country can cast his/her vote during elections without any discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, sex or other such factors. Now we are going to deal with fundamental rights. The Constitution of India guaranteed certain basic rights to all its citizens. These are called fundamental rights. You can look at the picture and read about the different types of fundamental rights. Fundamental duties. The Constitution also mentions a code of conduct for its citizens called the fundamental duties. Secularism. The Constitution of India declares that India is a secular country. That is, there is no official religion of the country. Every person has the right to practice and follow his or her own religion. Now we are going to deal with the last feature of our Constitution, constitutional amendment. The Constitution of India is able to adapt itself to the changing needs of society. Since it was framed, many social and economic changes have taken place in our country. Some guidelines given in the Constitution might have become outdated. So, by a process of amendment, it is possible to add or modify the existing rules of the Constitution. For example, in 2005, the Hindu Succession Amendment Act gave daughters equal share in the parental property. On the basis of explanation, try to give the answer. Thank you. Keep your environment clean, safe and healthy.